You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try and be the best. Not be better than other people, be the best for you. You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try and be the best. Not be better than other people, be the best for you.
Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught, and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the buyback team.
Hey, wait a minute. Trying to do two things at one time. Blessings, blessings. How are you guys doing today? You're here with Lashley, the tax lien lady. Give me 1 second because my video actually shows on my page and it doesn't show on the group. So I do want to share it with the group members on the tax lien expert group. Hold on 1 second. Bear with me, guys, because what end up happening is that they don't get on the live and they only get the replay. So just bear with me. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Today, we're going to be doing a part 2. Actually, this is like a part, is it part 3? Part 2 into deed transfer procedures. Okay. So last week we went into deed transfer procedures. Please bear with me. I'm doing two things at one time. And we also went into the state of Virginia, how to apply that concept to deed transferring in Virginia, what to expect. Now, everything that we teach you here is for concept. It is for you to take the information and build on it and to apply it to your particular state of interest. Okay. So what we usually do is talk about a subject matter pertaining to real estate, investment, and tax liens. And then we will try to give you an example, i.e. when we did our law series, we went into finding specific laws about real estate in different states. So we're going to kind of double back this summer about that because we're fixing and critiquing some things in our program. So I just want you to know that we will be going back into some more information related to our state-to-state breakdown. And that information will enhance on what you already know. So when we did our state-to-state breakdown, basically we gave you the keys that you needed to know to get started, where to find the information, how many counties in the state, how to look at the state website, how to get in contact with the tax assessor's office, how to do your due diligence. If you don't know, please look at some of those videos. And we're going to show you, my lips greasy. We're going to show you our member section today because we're going to give you a sneak peek related to this subject matter. Now, with that goes to say, we're going to build on the state-to-state breakdown. Does that make sense? Like, for instance, today we're doing deeds transfer, and we're giving you an example of a state. So that kind of enhance on the state-to-state breakdown. Now, I don't know if all of those videos will stay public, but if you are a member on the page, you will have access to that. Okay. And if you are a member on the website, you will have access to all the videos and in order. Okay. So today, what we're going to do is continue our talk about deed transfer. I'm going to get it on the screen. We're going to finish this PowerPoint. I actually had to add some more to it so we can go into the state of Maryland. So I had someone at the bottom of the video yesterday or the other day said, oh, when you're going to get into Maryland? And that's what we're going to do today. So this is, please bear with me, this is the same PowerPoint. I just added on to it. So we're going to start at deed transfer procedures in Maryland. Let me just see to make sure that you guys can see it. And I still didn't even share it with the group. Look at me. I'm so silly. I pulled it up and then I just started talking. So just let me know, can you see the PowerPoint on the screen? Let me make sure that you guys can see it. Can you see it? And then I'm gonna change the page. So I want to make sure that when I change the page, I can see it, because sometimes when I upload to StreamYard, it acts a little weird. I'm looking at it in real time, y'all. Okay, there we go. I think we're doing good. All right, so we're going to get started. So today we have a surprise for you. We're going to go into a formal presentation, and then we're going to show you a sneak peek of over-the-counter investment. We have that series on Primetime Home Buyers page on YouTube, and we offer it on other platforms as a package as well. If you know about Eventbrite and out here in Georgia, we have a few seminars that we do up there. So there's many ways that you can actually access our content. Okay, so let's just get into deed transfer procedures in Maryland, what to expect, and certain things that you should know, because if you're dealing with a specialist, you want to make sure that specialist does everything and that these procedures are not overbilled. Some specialists, like lawyers, they're like, hey, well, we have to record, we have to, create the deed, we have to do this, and then they'll charge you this big old fee. When you do it yourself, or you look at how much it costs to actually get it done, it's not the same. It's because you know procedures. So this is one of the reasons why you need to know what to do. So when you do talk to these experts, they don't take advantage of you. I'm just being honest. So deed transfer procedures in Maryland. Maryland state is a tax lien state that uses typical judicial foreclosure process. So the first part of this, we're going to break down the tax lien process of what to expect when investing in tax lien. So again, what is a judicial process, guys? Seeing the judge, okay? Please put it in the comments. I want you guys to know that every time I ask you what a judicial versus non-judicial, just put it in the comments. Judicial states means that all foreclosure process goes through the formal court process, which is a traditional foreclosure process, okay? Maryland tax lien process. Now, this is about investing, just a little bit of breakdown, which you can find in our state directory that we have on our website, where we have a breakdown of all states in the one big directory. Now, this says here, Maryland tax lien process use premium bidding method. Maryland also offers an over-the-counter tax lien certificate sold throughout the year, and that's what we're going to get into, just giving you a sneak peek. I have a video that goes into investing over the counter, which is a passive way. Investors can get between 6 to 24% in interest in Maryland. 6 counties offer only 6% interest. 23 counties, including Baltimore, interest is between 18 and 20%. And we know that that is based on compound interest. So if the property is redeemed by the homeowner in less than the 6 months, you will receive that amount of interest based on, let's say, 2 months worth of interest. So you'll do 2 months divided into the 20, if that's what they count, what they offer. Divided into the 20. Hold up, I done messed that up. It'll be the percentage divided into the months. Okay, I said it right. I just got a little brain freeze. Okay, to move forward to foreclose on the tax lien investment, there is 6 months redemption time for the homeowner. As I mentioned, when you go to the tax lien sale, if you're just buying and that's not over the counter, there is a 6-month time frame before you can move forward in the state of Maryland. I.e., let me give you an example of opposite. In Georgia, there is a 1-year redemption period for the homeowner. So if you invest this month, you don't have to the next year of that same month to move forward with redeeming the property. So this is why I tell people the information I give you is abstract, because who can know every single state? As time go on, I'm being more keen to the states and things, and I can kind of just run them down for you. But what that goes to say, that's why I have the directory myself, and I went through the extensive research to kind of give you a heads up of what to expect. So again, in the state of Maryland, there'll be 23 counties, including Baltimore. Interest rate is 18 to 20%. To move forward to foreclose on tax lien investment, there's a 6 months redemption period, as we mentioned. Some counties offer or host their tax lien sales between May and June. So we do know the summertime is when they offer the tax liens for sale in Maryland, and that's usually in every county. So if you're interested in investing in Maryland, you need to get a heads up on when that list will be coming up, how, when, and where the county hosts the list. And you want to know, do they do over the counter? Because this particular state does over the counter. And it's great because the whole year where there's not tax lien sales, there are property that's waiting to be obtained in Maryland. Okay. Now, most important advice I can say to you is you have to seek legal advice in Maryland, especially if you're a new investor. I know we are hands-on as tax lien investors. We do everything ourselves, but sometimes you can't. Even myself being a hands-on person, I knew that I had to have someone who was well-versed not only in foreclosures or foreclosing in Maryland, but also tax lien certificates, okay? And that helped me and that educated me along the process. So years down the line now, I have a lot of knowledge because I went to experts first, okay? Even today, I won't even do my own foreclosure in Maryland because it's so daggone technical. We're going to get to it. Seek legal information via Maryland law related to tax lien on real estate properties. This is an example. We show you, or we tell you where you can go. And sometimes we show you in the law seminar, we show you where you can go to go look for law. An example here is ACM 14-008. And sometimes if you put that in Google, it may go right to it. And you put Maryland law, it'll go right to it. So this is an example of real estate property law in Maryland. After 6 months post-purchase the tax lien, as we mentioned, 6 months, the investor can move forward with a judicial foreclosure process, which is taking a formal action in the court, which is known as an administrative action. Keep in mind that investors must know the status of their property. What does that mean? Because tax lien investments can be risky. And we always say that. That's why I have this extensive amount of information for you guys. It can be risky. These properties sometimes are sitting for a long time. You highlight that the person didn't pay their taxes. They may not want to pay nothing else or even maintain the property. Or the property was sitting there because it was passed down to someone who family member just forgot about the property. There's so many different reasons why property can be in this condition, which is keep in mind the investor must know the status of the property. If the property is considered condemned after your investment, the property may be demolished. Okay. And that happened actually out here in Georgia. But the crazy thing was actually a phallus on the court. And I was so messed up because the guy invested through foreclosures or something. And then he was building the house and they mixed the address up. They considered it condemned, even though it didn't look condemned. On paper, it was condemned, and they tore down the damn house, and he got a lawsuit and everything. So y'all need to really be aware of the status of the properties that y'all invest in. This is why I say do your due diligence. What I share with you is not just to, talk. I don't want y'all just to go out there and then get into all of this drama, and then your heart be set on these properties, and then you have to do a song and a dance to get it. Keep in mind that the investor must know the status of the property, as we talked about. The foreclosure process in Maryland can be complicated, technical, and very formal. It's a very formal process. So this is why I say you need to have a lawyer. I don't care. Even when, what was I trying to file? I remember I was on a contract. I was in another state, and I was checking up on the lawsuit. I think I was trying to check up on the status of the lawsuit that I had in Prince George. And it was even hard to check the status because I was like, the lawyer was getting on my nerves, taking all long. So instead of me keep calling him every couple of months, I would just try to update myself. And it was just like looking through it was so complicated. So I'm just going to keep it real, y'all. Maryland, the whole filing process and everything is a doozy. Okay. So after 6 months post-purchase, the investor can move forward with a judicial foreclosure. As we mentioned, keep in mind the investor must know the status of the property. At the last one, this is why it's important to seek legal advice when proceeding to do your first foreclosure in Maryland. And that is to the gentleman who told me he couldn't wait to talk about Maryland and the deed transfer process. I think people hear terms, and that's not to you. And it's the same thing that I mentioned earlier when I had to do the refund for that person. They saw a foreclosure seminar. They like, yeah, we were going to be foreclosing our houses. This is a conventional foreclosure seminar. No, you got to look a little deeper. Foreclosure means foreclosure. And I may change it to concepts of foreclosure so I could make it more detailed for people. Because, like I said, when you know the concepts of things, you're going to be more diligent in your due diligence. You're going to be more diligent in your due diligence. You're going to be able to pick more people wisely to do the job for you, making your investment more safely. As I mentioned, you don't just want to get a list or just get information and just run with it. Please, guys. Please. Okay. So now let's continue. Maryland tax lien process highlights. After the redemption time for the homeowner or for the home, after the redemption time for the homeowners has passed, if the investor proceed to foreclose at this time, the investor then have the legal rights to receive reimbursement for costs of any actions taken to secure the property. So if you invest in a tax lien and then you at 5 months, you like, I'm about to get a lawyer, this, that, or third, at that 5 month period, you will not be reimbursed. Okay. Technically, you will be reimbursed at the 6 month period when you can move forward. These documents will be submitted within the suit or within, if the person want to redeem the property. And if it says that you started moving forward 5 months, that person doesn't have to pay you for that initial legal fee or whatever. So timing is everything. Knowing the law is everything. And that's what applies to in Maryland. They're strict. In the state of Maryland, if the investor does not move forward to foreclose on their tax lien, the certificate will be voided after 2 years post the date of the original tax sale. Do you know what that means? Just to give you some details. We're talking about over-the-counter investment. There is a time frame that you need to know. You need to move forward. This is a little technical. I may mention it in the little sneak peek that I give you. It's about a half an hour, that sneak peek, but I do mention if you buy a tax lien over the counter, it's been sitting for 6 months. You already ready to move forward in the state of Maryland because it's 6 months. Does that make sense? Because it's from the date of the original tax lien sale. And that is from that time, from the sale, even if it goes to nobody, even if it stays in the county possession, that is a time frame for the homeowner to move forward. This is specific details that people who are investing in Maryland need to know. Okay. Now, when I'm giving state specific information, that's how I highlight it. I'm gonna be more meticulous in what I say just because of the situation I had, because it was a misconception. So I want you guys to know when I'm saying general and state specific. Now, general foreclosure process, I'm going to go a little bit into the over-the-counter video to kind of talk a little bit more, giving you some more details and some hints and tips about Maryland. But before we do that, we're going to get into the subject of what we wanted to talk about today, which is transferring and recording deeds in Maryland. Why should you know that if you're going to get a lawyer to do it? You know why? Because they be messing up. Yes. If you know what I went through in my last, oh my God, sale of the property, it was just so much. And I had to deal with bad behavior lawyers. Okay. My lawyer, who was ride or die for me all these years, just started acting like a fool. Let me put myself on the screen so I can tell you the story. It is important. So basically, when I was trying to sell let me remove it. When I was trying to sell a property, as I told you, it was something coming up with the title, and they wouldn't give title insurance, but the title search allegedly came back good. The title insurance said they will not give us insurance because someone was not put on notice. And I said, wait a minute. So I had to call my lawyer back, and I looked at all of the documents, and everybody within the legal frames of state law was put on notice. Aha. But what I found out at that particular time is that in the state of Maryland, there was a federal case. No, it was a federal case that highlights. Excuse me, I'm just trying to make sure I'm giving you the right reference. That highlight basically someone has up to 5 years to come back to claim the property. Anyone who has interest in the property, even if it was sold, not that they just come back and take it, but they will have interest and they can pay and go through all these litigations. The title company does not want to go through that. So they say, Hell no, the tax liens for the first 5 years. Gotta respect it. But they told me something different. So when I brought it back to my lawyer, I was like, look, this is the situation, this, that, and the third. Now, I don't know if my lawyer was totally informed about the federal case or whatever, but at that point, he was arguing. He was like, I did this, I did that. He started arguing with the title company. He made my realtor feel uncomfortable. My realtor like, hold, I got to fall back. He talking about all liabilities and I mean, I had to shut it down. Okay. Now, this was in the hands of a lawyer, a good lawyer who literally helped me fight a case. He was one of the big dogs in Maryland. He helped me beat that case against Prince George, his team. So he just, everything he said was gold. I mean, when I read the email, I was so disappointed in the behavior of this lawyer and the representation of me that it made the realtor don't want to have nothing to do with the transaction. And then I had to be the full realtor and just mitigate between me and the man for a couple of months because of this. Now, I'm highlighting that if I did not know what was supposed to be done, I would have been thinking that, oh my God, this lawyer didn't do what he was supposed to do. You know, it was wrong, Because I knew the law and I was able to go research it before I talked to him, it made me handle it more calm because I was about to get him, you know, because his behavior, but I was more calm. And I was like, listen, this is the law, what they're talking about. Why are you arguing with them? They're not saying that you did a bad job. They're just saying that there is something that supersedes that is stopping me from or issuing insurance. The title is good. You did the foreclosure process correctly, but it was literally going to sever my whole transaction, sever everything. So if I wasn't knowledgeable, everything would have went down shit's creek. I'm just going to be honest. That's why we share this information. Okay, we want you to be in control of your transaction, even if you have a specialist, because as I just told you, mine was acting like a damn fool. I mean, at the end, I ended up selling the property, had to pay the lawyer that did the transaction for me. And then I went back to the realtor and gave her a little bit of money because of what we went so far in the transaction, and she backed out because she was afraid. I felt obligated that she should get something. That's how bad it went. Okay. That's how bad it went. So this is why you need to know this, so you can see as they're giving you documents, what is done, what's missing. You got to ask like, wait a minute. So now if you're in Maryland, and you're getting the formal foreclosure done by your lawyer, and he's sending you these documents, and you're looking through it, just like I had told him when he did the title search. His title search that he sent me was pretty much consecutive of what I had, and I'm like, so how did we miss anything? I could have did this myself. You said charge me $500 for this, but anyway, transferring a record, transferring recording a deed in Maryland. The transfer of a property is known as conveyance of the property. So it's being conveyed over to the other person. This term had changed. This term highlights, I do apologize, highlights the changes from owner's name on the property and deed. The most important step before recording the deed is to do an extensive background check on the property. What we was just talking about, okay? There are many ways to convey the right of the property via a deed document. This is in Maryland. In the state of Maryland, it is important to use the right wording. This is why you need to know they have forms that you can just download from the court that you fill in. They have formal forms there. You can't write your deed up in Maryland like you can do in Virginia, as we explained to you. Create your own deed. So you see the marked difference. If you go back into the Virginia video last week, they say you could create your own long as you follow this criteria. Here, no. Most likely you're going to have to go on to line and download their formal document. There are many ways to convey the rights of a deed via deed document. In the state of Maryland, it's important to use the right wording so the court will validate the deed. This is why it's important to get legal advice. Steps to making a recording a deed in Maryland. Preparing the deed. You can prepare the deed yourself or use a standard form. Use the standard form or copy and paste it the same exact way. You can have a lawyer draft a deed for you as well. It is very important to prepare the deed in Maryland correctly, highlighting the error may not be found, and when it is found, it may be hard to correct. Again, buyback team, tax lien investors. How do you correct a deed that is not that's messed up? How do you correct a deed? Anybody? You can do a quit claim deed depending on the correction that needs to be made. It can be maybe missing this a date, maybe something like that. If it's something major, like someone's signature is missing, like a party to it, now you're gonna have to take that back. You're gonna have to whoa. You're gonna have to get a lawyer, and then they're gonna have to get in contact with the paper. Things gonna have to get amended. It's a whole process. That's why you want to look at these things when you're doing your research, when you're doing your soft title search, or what we call a soft title search. You're going to see through the consecutiveness of the deeds when you're reading through the records in the recorder office, and that's right online. You're gonna be like, hey, something's missing. The wife's signature. Oh snap! It's gonna be a problem. Maryland, I don't even want this. I'm not about to deal with this. Okay. So in the state of Maryland, there must be consideration when preparing a deed. In Virginia, didn't we say it don't need to be consideration? What is consideration? Monies, exchange of money. So in any deed that's prepared in Maryland, you need consideration, and it has to be written in a certain way. If there's no consideration, then the deed can be transferred as a gift, and that is a different process, and different things apply just a little differently. But as we compared to last week in Virginia, you can transfer a deed without having consideration. Okay. Steps to making and recording a deed in Maryland, a must-have. Habendum clause. What is a habendum clause? This is known as to have and to hold. Habendum clause. Okay. This clause indicates the type of ownership interest that is being conveyed to the buyer. To have and to hold. Habendum. Doesn't sound like a marriage. This is very important to have within the deed in Maryland. If this is not on a deed or worded correctly, the deed may be considered not legal. Okay. So this is another thing that will invalidate the deed. Maryland is very, very strict. Okay. Now, there's another few documents that have to go with the deed before it's recorded, which is very different from Virginia. You see, we comparing and contrasting. In this particular state, documents that go along with the deed to certify the transaction and to go along with the administrative actions that you're doing in court, because the judge want to make sure everything is right. That's why the process is so long. It takes about 6 months to foreclose and to get your property, but it's okay. So it's a certificate that has to be filed with the particular deed. There is a formal certificate that goes along with the preparation of the deed. This certificate highlights the person who prepared the deed. This can be a lawyer or by a private party. If the lawyer is preparing the deed, the lawyer's signature must be on the certificate. All forms must be notarized by active notary public. Now, I don't know if it's a mandate that you have to have a lawyer to foreclose in Maryland, but you do have to have these documents, okay? A lawyer will know to have this, okay? A lien certificate is an attachment that must be within the deed. When recording the deed, it highlights, and now this is a deed certificate. So the first one, this is deed certificate, and this is a deed lien certificate. I do apologize. Lien certificate. Okay, I'm gonna fix that real quick. So we talked about the certificate. That's a certificate of who's putting it together. Now, this is a lien certificate. This is different. A lien certificate is an attachment that must be with the deed as well when recording the deed. It highlights any unpaid taxes or other obligations connected to the property. It's highlighting any unpaid taxes or obligations to the property. This deed certificate, it needs to be clear before the deed is recorded. This is how strict Maryland is. That's why I told the lawyer, you need to relax. If you did everything right, you knew they wanted to record the deed. You showed everything within the state level, but it was something that was higher that the title company knew. Okay. So in many cases, before a deed can be recorded, you must apply for a lien certificate for that particular property, highlighting that all liens are taken care of and any other outstanding obligation. Now, usually, you don't, like I said, as a first lien holder in a tax lien certificate, you are not obligated to pay the liens of the other individuals, like mechanical liens. If you got HOAs, you gotta have to take that to court. But only lien that you're obligated to pay is the taxes that's due to the county and or state, and then also if there's an IRS lien on it, and that's something that you don't want to invest in. And we show you how to look for IRS liens. So in many cases, before the deed can be recorded, you must apply for a lien certificate for the particular property, highlighting that all liens are taken care of and any outstanding obligations. Tax lien holders are obligated to pay any outstanding taxes that are owed to the county and or IRS. This application usually is located at the Office of Finance in many counties, but locations may vary because there's different county, different strokes for different folks. I tell you, every county is like it's their own island. When I went to Clayton County out here in Georgia, and I talk about Fulton County, they get mad at each other, me, and say, we different counties, we do things different. You see what I'm saying? So the process of approving a lien certificate can take several days, highlighting that the state of Maryland is very particular. Now, there is another document that goes with this that you should see and you should know. Land Instrument Intake Sheet. What is that? In the state of Maryland, it is recommended that you fill out a Land Instrument Intake Sheet. This document highlights the transfer of the property, taxes, and recordation of the taxes due on the property. Not all counties use intake sheets, but in Baltimore, an intake sheet is needed. So this is the law related to MD Code 3-104 that talks about the intake sheet, what it's supposed to have, the importance of it, but not all counties use that intake sheet. Before the transfer and recordation of the deed could take place, all liens connected to the county and state must be satisfied and or addressed. What do I mean? Meaning address me, and it has to be handled. If you're trying to validate a debt, a mechanical lien could be an error. You have to go through the UCC, look through where this lien is at, get in contact with the company, get them to take it off. Or if they don't respond, you can validate it through the courts as being frivolous, okay? So these are some things of how to remove liens off of your home. If they're, your investment, if they're fake, because some people put mechanical liens, or some of them put it on there and never take it off. They get their money and they just never take it off the property, and that becomes an issue. So when transferring the property, there are some taxes that you are obligated to pay in the state of Maryland, okay? And many other states, they got transfer taxes, recorded taxes, and those type of things. But in the state of Maryland, you will pay for state and county transfer taxes, state recording fees and taxes. And if you're out of county, out of state, you will pay out of state taxes. Yes, because when I was selling the property, we had to do some waiting. We had to wait a couple of 60 days. So I could be a resident out there, you know what I'm saying? So I could save on some taxes because it was an extra 7%. I was like, oh damn. He was like, don't worry, we make it happen. So yeah, that's some of the things that you should know. So it would have been an extra tax on me because I was selling out of state. Some properties can be exempt from certain taxes. See state for details. Example, transferring property to spouses and children may be exempt from Maryland transfer and recordation tax. Please highlight that transferring to the next of kin may involve the different procedures in taxes. Contact your county for details. So there'll be a different procedures and taxes involved, if any. Okay. Where we at? Are we at another one? Okay, we got 2 more PowerPoints, this one and another one, and then we're going to be getting to the sneak peek of over the counter for you guys, okay? And then before that, I'm going to talk to you guys about what we're going to be showing next week before we give you the sneak peek, so you guys can get ready. So we're still talking about Maryland, transferring, recording a deed, making a deed, to officially record a deed in Maryland. take the stated documents, and that's what I told you: the intake sheet, the certificate sheet, the certificate of lien sheet. Put them all together with the original deed and a copy of the new deed that was created to the local recorder's office. It is important to take a copy of the deed to the court and submit it to the Department of Assessment and Taxation as well. If there is a separate department, separate place you need to go, that is another place you need to make sure is that. You won't be doing this, your lawyer will, but you want to check and balance, okay? Expect the original deed to be mailed to you within 4 to 6 weeks after all procedures are completed. Please keep in mind, if you receive every correspondence highlighting that you must pay another fee to receive your deed, it may be a scam. Okay, just highlight that. Okay, they do that. I don't know. It just be this AI type technology when you do something, and then all of a sudden they start. It's like you get a new car, like you need a warranty, or your car get a little old, you're like you need a warranty. Things like that. They just be trying to scam people sometimes. All right. So things to note, just closing off on this particular deed transfer in Maryland, what to expect, how to govern your lawyer, how to look at those documents. You ask them to send that to you every step of the way because this process takes 6 months anyway. You better send it. Also, when you're dealing with a lawyer, you don't have to pay everything up front. Your lawyer usually open a trust for you. You can put a $500 deposit, and then whatever is needed along the time as he's mailing out stuff, putting people on notice, that's what will go inside the trust. But don't think that there's just some outstanding number of money that go in the trust. It's $1,500 to do the foreclosure. It's $1,500. You just will have to do it over a time frame. If it's 1,200, it's 1,200. That's what's going to be in the trust for the transaction to be complete. That's why I tell you guys, y'all have time. It depends on what state y'all are in. How you can invest. You don't need to have all the money right now. That's how I started. I didn't have all the money, but I'm kind of getting to the left. Let's get to the last slide. Things to know: general rules and exceptions. This is 3-100-D. Requirements to execute and record in exception memorandums of lease. Now that is a law reference. Okay, so we'll put them at the bottom of the video. You guys help you out a little bit so y'all can just click and find the general rules. This is under Maryland. You need a certificate of preparation as well. Highlight. So these are just going back to what you need. So you need a certificate of preparation. That is the yourself, you did it, or the lawyer. Lawyer, preferably. Highlighting the parties who prepared the deed. All required documents must be notarized and signed by an active notary public. Not all. The ones that state need to be notarized. These are formal forms in Maryland. So it's going to say notary right here, notary right here. Get them notarized. Make sure that the notary is active. Or in the state of Maryland, a land instrument intake sheet is needed to determine the required recording and transfer taxes that may be needed. So that's through the finance department. A lien certificate must be created to show any liens or unpaid taxes that must be paid to complete the transfer. So that will be there. And even if you have one that's being wiped out, that's going to be within that lien certificate sheet is going to be highlighted. Does that make sense? Now, I want you guys to let me know, was that a good breakdown of a deed transfer in Maryland? Do you understand a little bit more about the process? Over the last 2 weeks, we explained it from two different processes. Actually, three different ways. One was the general way of looking at what deeds are, type of deeds, just going right back into that. Make sure that you know quitclaim deeds are dangerous, but they can be helpful to correct mistakes. Then we went into the specifics of Virginia. As we know, that's a tax deed state. But as you know there, the marked difference is that you could create your own deed there. You can do a lot of the processes there. They have a lot of different deeds types that they accept in Maryland. As you see, Virginia. As you can see, Maryland, we didn't get into the different types that they accept. They do accept those, but you're not going to get through a quick claim deed as fast as you would in other states in Maryland because they don't play. They be here to slay. Okay. So if you guys like the content, I want you guys to hit the like button. We're about 34 minutes into the broadcast. So now I have a sneak peek for you guys. Let's put it on the screen. Sorry, y'all. This was the wrong thing that was about to come on the screen. Give me 1 second. Now, this right here is our over-the-counter sales seminar, okay? This over-the-counter seminar is located on YouTube. We have this same seminar that is located on Eventbrite. It's for sale, $27. You get, look at this. Look how many videos you get, baby. You get 1, 2, 3, 4 videos in this one, and one is an hour, one is an hour and a half, one is 30 minutes. In the intro, this is not in order. Let me put it in order. Live Baltimore, over the counter, talk through, and over the counter. Okay, I'm sorry, it wasn't in order. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be showing you a sneak peek of our over the counter seminar that is for members only. And actually, this one, I think this is the one that is actually for Eventbrite. That's why it's private, because only the people who get the link to this can see it. Okay, so today we're going to show you what we're working with. This is located on YouTube, but if y'all do want the Eventbrite link, I'll put it at the bottom. So this is $27. Y'all have access to it forever, ever. And here is where we're going to do the talk through. Now, in this particular video, it's 59 minutes. Now, the first half is a talk through. And then right here, you can see that we give you live examples. And that's what I wasn't sure about the lady who had the complaint. I'm like, did she watch everything? Because sometimes we have a talk through at the beginning where you take notes like a lecture. And then we have the visual where we show you how to do it hands-on. So this is what we have to offer. This is what I have to offer. We're really hard on this, guys. I tried to make it comprehensive as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to just let you guys watch a half an hour of this. And I will be basically getting back to you guys. I think Monday I'm off. Okay. Yeah, Monday I'm off. So Monday, what we're going to be doing is going into, again, another concept of how to profit from tax liens. We do that concept of how to profit from tax liens. But since we're going to be going state to state again, kind of jumping around from different states, because I'm trying to see, make sure that that whole section is done. Because I think it's only 41 videos that's released on the YouTube page. It was 41 states I only have up there. So by the end of the month, all of the states will be up there. I'm doing my critique. I know all of the states is on the website, but on YouTube, I want to make sure that it's there for the members. So what we're going to be doing is having bonus content, because what I will do is how to profit from a tax lien, and I'll probably go into Alabama, or I'll probably go into California, something like that. Okay. We'll do that periodically so you could get more detail, just as what I showed you today. So that's what's coming up next week. And then we're going to get back into a little bit of law. You know, I'm going to keep it spicy, because we're going to still be doing Secure Your Energy Lives, where we're going to be doing our market watch, what's going on in the market, the scams, the technology, all this stuff that affects us financially, our future. And we probably talk about some other things, just talk about investing in other things, keeping your portfolio diverse. And that's on our Secure Your Energy sessions. So let's get to it. Let me stop talking. Let me divulge some of this good stuff to you. I want to say I love you guys, and thank you for being here with the Tax Lien Lady Lashley. Thank you, Facebook, my Facebook family, for being part of the family, YouTube and Rumble. Come on, baby. Where we at? Who we with? Monday. Today we're going to be going. Oh, look at me. Definitely Friday. The week went by. Don't I still look the same? I ain't never changed. I'm going to be an old lady looking the same. So fast. Anyway, let me get my booty off the screen. I love you guys. Yes, we're on Hits and Tips Friday. Today we're going to be going into Baltimore tax lien sales. We're getting a little bit of details today because we were in Maryland, and I wanted to go into how to invest in over-the-counter tax lien sales, because as a new tax lien investor, when I was a new tax lien investor, I found investing over the counter was very lucrative passive, and allowed me to learn the process. So today we're going to go a little bit more deeper into that. I hope you guys caught the first broadcast that we showed you just about a half an hour ago, just giving you the key concepts of what an over-the-counter tax lien is versus a regular tax lien sale. We gave some examples about Florida. We talked about Florida a lot in the last 2 weeks about how they host a various amount of tax lien sales, which is the initial tax lien sales, the next tax lien sale where it's a little bit of overage. Also, they do over-the-counter tax lien sales, and they also do a deed auction. That's how advanced Florida is, just to give you a flashback. So if you remember us talking about that, you can connect that to the video that we just released to you just a few minutes ago, okay? So now what we're going to do is get into talking about over-the-counter tax liens. We're going to talk about the states and remind the family what states actually host over-the-counter tax liens. We're going to go into the mindset of what to start doing when you are investing in tax liens. I'm going to kick my shoes off. Investing in tax liens. So you want to start with a series of processes of, how to research. And then we're going to go into showing you in Baltimore what Baltimore actually requires you to do, and also Carolina County. And we're also going to show you again in detail a flashback of Maryland, because their actual state gives most of the information you would need to participate on a county level. And we're going to show you that, okay? So let's get this party started today. I'm going to get off the screen. And I need you guys to, because sometimes when I'm on the screen, I distract myself until I can get another type of computer program that where I don't have to totally look at myself. Y'all can look at me. I just get a little distracted. So when I have a lot of information to share with you, we're going to kind of go do it in a podcast form when I'm feeling distracted. Also, once I go over this information, that's why I said this is the time to get your pen and paper. Then we're going to go into a live search into Baltimore County. Okay, so let's start now with this information. What state offers over-the-counters? Today we're going to be doing Maryland, but I need you to get your papers together. We have Alabama, Arizona, Colorado, Florida, as we mentioned, Maryland, what we're doing today, Michigan, Mississippi, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Jersey, South Carolina. And I think that's going to be the next state we hone in on too, because South Carolina is a state that I want to invest in. So we're going to kind of like dig into South Carolina to show you guys what they're working with. The next state that hosts over-the-counter tax lien sales is Tennessee, Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia. Okay. And if you didn't catch that, y'all can always just replay on this video so y'all can write those states down. If you are part of the full course, you actually have all of the PDFs, and some of the PDFs, most of the PDFs that I share with you guys live, and we have much more on the website. So let's talk about steps to get started. All right, what do we do? The first thing we have to do is determine our investment areas. So we already know today we're going to be looking into Maryland, Baltimore County, as well as I want to go into Carolina County with you guys a little bit. Base your information on your goal. What type of property do I want to invest in? These are the questions you want to ask yourself. What areas are best for my investment plans? Think to yourself, am I looking to invest for a property, the lot, land, or for commercial property? This is your first initial mindset before you do anything, before you even find the state. Start with thinking, what do you want to end up with? Then you'll start to look on the county level. But before the county level, you're going to look on the state level. And we have enough information to get you started to see what states have what and what county you may want to start with. So when you move down to the county level, you review the county tax assessor's office website. We're going to show you that for over-the-counter procedures and purchases. FYI, some county requires that emails or mail letter requests must be done. So please pay attention to the county. And you're going to see with Baltimore County, they have a special procedure as well. Sometimes you can do this thing you can just print out the application and send it in. Sometimes you have to go another route. So obtaining the list is your next go-to. You know your county, you determining your investment goal. Now we're going to kind of look at the list. Now you with the county, you want to know, when do they host the sale? How much time do I have to get prepared? And if one just happened in May and you're in September right now, you know you got some time to get prepared. And most likely, some way, somehow, the county do have lists available for people who are late. And once we go into that, you're going to see the time of when to expect these lists to start showing up, these pre-lists, okay? So you obtain the list and start your research. This is the pre-list. While reviewing the list now, this is over the counter as well. Now we know that Florida is active, so you're going to be able to look at a pre-list, the over-the-counter list, and possibly a deed list at some point. But if you're talking about just over the counter, you want to contact that county and say, hey, I'm interested in requesting to be part of your certificate of purchase over the counter list. Do you have that? Do you have a surplus list? And they're gonna be like, what are you talking about? And you're gonna say, well, I'm talking about the tax liens that were not sold at the last tax lien sale. And they're gonna say, hey, okay, no problem. This is what you have to do. So you want to obtain the list. While reviewing the list, identify key information needed to further your research on the property. And we have the key details that we need you to pay attention to the buyback team, such as the parcel number, legal description, owner information. You want to review the market. Is the market good for you? What is the price value of this home? Because sometimes when they have different bidding practices, you're going to want to have to know, especially if you have those premium bidding states or those states where you're going to be having to pay a portion of the fair market value because you went over. You went into a bidding war. Okay. So concepts to keep in mind. Keep a researcher's mindset. It never stops. You never know what comes up with these properties. And you will know what to expect when you start to read about how the county talks about their sale, because they put it out there for you. If they're going to be clean and free, if they're not going to be clean and free. And that's going to tell you what you need to do to get prepared. So the concept to keep in mind is, how long was the tax sale held for the property before you went into the tax lien, to the assessor's office and obtained the tax certificate? Because you know the original redemption times. When do it start, guys? I always tell you, I'm always giving you the answer. It starts the day of the original sale. You must keep this in mind, okay? So you don't go over your redemption time or miss it. So you want to map and track your possible investments. You don't want to just see it one time on a Google and say, hey, this is a great property. This is what I'm going to be invested in. Yay, this is it. No, you want to take your time, look at the map, go through the GIS map, cross-reference, understand what the area has to offer you, what you can possibly do with the property if it doesn't come to your liking, because we're gonna be releasing some more information about Maryland, putting those pieces together of how we had to troubleshoot some things. But hey, it happens, and that's why we're here as the Buyback Team Learning Institution to help you work out any issues you may have when you invest in your tax lien. Because this process, you never know. But you never know. You may get properties, more than one property, clear and free. That's how we teach you how to do your research so you can be successful all of the time. Okay, so keep those concepts in mind. Keep a researcher mindset. How long is the tax lien held for? We want to keep that in mind. You also want to understand how to generally look for the GIS map, compare it to your parcel, compare it to your actual Google map. Use tools such as the County Land Records Department to review land maps, the deed, zoning information, and more. Okay. And you can do all of this before you go and put your money where your mouth is. Investing concepts to keep in mind before selecting the over-the-counter tax certificate. Identify the tax identification number. What is your possible rate of the return versus the investment amount? Now you want to know, okay, you want to know, am I going to possibly get this property or someone's going to pay me? Now, if it's over the counter, you have a higher chances of being a homeowner because that property has been sitting longer and the person may have a little hard time to pay the property. So keep that in mind. The percentage is higher to actually end up with the property when you're buying over the counter sales. But if you see LLC trust, LLC trust, LLC trust, and all the tax liens is $5,000, 9 out of 10, you know what that is. That is a Kodak, that is a developer, and they may 9 out of 10 pay you once you go to try to redeem that property because they're holding that until they sold it. We talk about how to start in the tax lien game to get your money every time. That's the method. If you guys don't remember, please join the course. All right. So keep those investment concepts in mind. What is your rate of investment versus your rate of return? Narrow down your prospect. Reduce your over-the-counter tax lien list to about 4 or 5 per county. You want to have some options. You never know. I mean, I put in 4 and 3 of them was like, okay, you can pay. You ready? So at that point, you know, you put your money in, you get your tax certificate. It's much smoother than the actual auction process. Okay. Analyze the list by price of the initial investment, the value of the property, any cost of repairs, any possible cost of maintenance of the property when you obtain it. These are the things that you want to keep in mind when you first start to even look at the list. Why? Buyback team? Because you're prepared. You're prepared. Now you use your online tools. Apply all your research skills that we have taught you on the buyback team, where you're obtaining the investor's information pre-research. So you want to research the property's owner information for possible income converts on the property as well as state information. And you want to do a soft title search. Review the deed for issues. We teach you how to do that. Looking for consecutiveness, looking for different changes in the description, and get a good look at the property. Make it your goal to obtain high quality information on your possible investment. And you can do that more passively with over-the-counter tax lien sales. So use all your resources while you have the time. Get help. If you're investing in 1 or 2 states, take your time. Enlist help of a person you may know who lives in the state or traveling into that area that may be able to look at the property for you. And this is why a couple of years ago, you saw me travel to Maryland to look at the particular investments before I put my money down where my mouth was at, because I wanted to make sure that the maps were correct and that those were the properties that I was going to be able to invest in and prosper in. And even when we went to Maryland and foreclosed and everything was supposed to be correct, we still found a discrepancy in the description. So anything can happen, guys. I want you guys to be aware. Okay. Get ready to be a homeowner. Keep in mind the redemption. It is very important to get ready to be a landowner. This is the best time to ensure that you have a good working knowledge of the state requirements to foreclose or obtain the property. Please keep in mind, in some states, they offer non-judicial processes of foreclosure in which the tax certificate is automatically converted into a deed after the redemption time has expired. And some states make you do an application like Georgia, okay, and they put the person on notification, but it does convert into a deed that is clear and free, okay. Oh, well, no, you do have to do a quiet title action in Georgia because it's just the last owner of the property was the state, and then they put it's like a soft lien they put on it. But you do have to do the quiet title action in Georgia, okay? At this time, the investor is responsible to move forward to perfect the title, depending on the state, and record the deed. This process is explained more in detail within course 1, the full course, okay? So please see the title section in the full course. While preparing to possibly be a homeowner, please keep in mind the time frame in which the new owner must obtain insurance for the property, as well as secure the property. Please see state and county for details. And that was one of the things that I was nervous about because I knew that the grass hadn't been cut in about, let's say, I wanted it every 3 weeks. So we missed three weeks. So it's 9 weeks, a month and a half. The grass wasn't cut. So we showed you how the grass looked. We're going to actually show the YouTube family because we showed the Instagram family. We're going to be putting the clips together. It'll be released tonight after we're done with this live. So you can see our experience in Maryland with our investment property and some of the issues that we have been troubleshooting. And we're going to continue to keep you posted as well, too. So last but not least on this check off list, you have made the decision to invest. Please review county information for directions on how to apply, participate, and pay for the tax lien certificates sold over the counter. Each state has its own redemption time, regulations of over-the-counter sale, as well as requirements to obtain the deed. Please review each state that you are interested in investing before purchasing any over-the-counter tax lien certificate. If needed, please speak to a foreclosure specialist. You can go talk to someone before you go because you know they have a lot of free lawyer website that you can go and like just talk to somebody online. Y'all can text back and forth for a free consultation just to get you started. You may could do one a day for different lawyers and they give you the information you may need to get started and get you comfortable. Where there's a will, there's a way. Like I tell you, if you need information and you want to verify it, you can do it. So before you go into a county or into a state and invest, learn its foreclosure process. Go on to that state, say free legal consultation for foreclosure. You never know. Something may come up for it, okay? So now we're just going to talk a little bit about Maryland before we going into our actual live research today on Baltimore. I'm going to give you a little flashback because last week we did go into how to invest in Maryland tax lien and we did the checklist. So we want to remind you that Maryland used premium bidding. They do offer over-the-counter tax lien sales, and with the state, tax lien certificates are sold throughout the year. Interest rate for the over-the-counter is between 6 to 20%. There are under 6 counties that offer a 6% rate. There is some counties that offer 6%, so keep that in mind. The other 23, such as Baltimore, that we'll be talking about today, offers between 18 and 20%. This is a flashback. Remember this information that we shared with you last week. Redemption time in Maryland is 6 months. So after 6 months, you can move forward to start putting a personal notification for foreclosure. Many counties in Maryland host their own tax lien sales between May and June. So where are we at now? We are in September. So we passed that time. And now we're going to go. We may have time to get ready for the next one. Now, the first thing we're going to show you is that Maryland state, they actually hosts a good amount of information about tax lien sales for all the counties first. So we can start there. If you know about Maryland, you've been following the buyback team, the family, you know you can go into marylandstate.gov and you can go in and find information, register for that website, and you can basically research everything about the counties, all the counties. So we're going to show you some of that today. All right. So we know the redemption time is 6 months. Premium bidding process. Practice accept taxes, interest, penalties, and cost of sale. After 6 months, you can move forward. You want to make sure that you understand what is the foreclosure process in Maryland. After the redemption takes place, redemption time and foreclosure proceeding has begun. The investor has the right to receive reimbursement for the cost of any action taken to secure the property, their bid plus incurred interest. Now, we want to let you know that Maryland, some states, some counties is a little bit different with its bidding practices, because when you buy a tax lien, I'm going to say most of the states and most of the counties are not going to let you pay fair market value for a tax lien certificate. So if you get into a bidding war, they have a particular practice that we talked to you about where they will make you take 20% of 40% of your overbid, and that's called premium bidding. And you'll pay that on top of the minimum amount that's due for the tax lien certificate. Okay, so we're going to show you that a little bit in Baltimore, and we're going to get into it today. We're going to get into it. It's going to be a good show. Give me a second to switch the screen. I hope you guys are having a great evening. And we're going to start with a basic Google page. Okay? Go to Google, y'all. Start on Google. And the first thing you want to do is put Baltimore County tax lien property sales. So once you do that, we're going to pray that we have no Wi-Fi problems tonight. But once you do that, you're going to see that you're going to have a host of websites that come up. All right. Let's see what's going on. Now you're going to see a host of websites that comes up. Now, what we want you to do is pay attention to these URLs that's here. We want to look for .gov. There's going to be a lot of other places that actually, websites that pops up, but we want you to specifically look for .gov. Now, what we're going to do first is we're going to go into Maryland tax sales schedule. We know that the Maryland state hosts a lot of the information for the tax lien. So, we're registered already there because we invest. So you're going to go into dat.maryland.gov, and on that website, they're going to have a page, and this page is /page/tax-sale-schedule.aspx. Okay.
You don't start things and not finish them. You don't quit. There's nothing that comes out of quitting besides knowing that you didn't finish. We finish everything. You start it, finish it. If you're going to do it to try and be the best. Not be better than other people, be the best for you.
The real estate market often seems like a distant world where only an elite of experts is successful. In a time of so much uncertainty in the air and bad news, realist investing can seem intimidating. But today, I want to tell you that if you make the right decision today, you can enter the real estate market from the back door. Bad credit record? No credit at all? Do you dread the idea of having a home loan? Do you dream of owning investment properties? You are in the right place and right time, because we have created a program which is a tax lien and deed investment online course of only 14 hours. This course is specially designed for people like you who have big dreams. You will learn at your own pace and everything from your home computer. This is your chance. Join our membership for $19.99 a year. What are you waiting for? Visit our website primetimehomebuyerBuyback.org and sign up today for course access.